Hello everybody, we're in Victoria Park here in Salford. Very nice on a warm summer's day when the temperature's above 20 degrees. Many people write to me and ask me, where do you stand on Scottish independence and also on staying within the European Union as a nation, as Great Britain, member state of the EU? I think these two issues are very connected, Scottish independence and EU membership, so let me try and talk about it clearly so that people understand, and I hope this settles the question about how I feel about this. Okay, first of all, I do support Scottish independence, and I hope there is a yes vote when they go to the polls. I know it's stuck about 50-50 in the opinion polls, so it's on a knife's edge whether it falls towards Free Scotland or whether it falls towards remaining part of the UK. My reasons for this, I'm going to talk about the EU now, then I'll justify the Scotland thing. I also think that Britain should stay within the European Union. It's been a member state for many decades now. My parents live in France. They get fantastic healthcare there for free. They can travel around. I've just, in the last 7 months, completed a film in Germany, in Cologne and Berlin. And again, free travel, free trade, free shooting, free filming wherever you want. And you know, like when I'm visiting my friends in Cologne, where we shot the film, we can get in a van and drive to Holland. We can buy loads of good quality cannabis, we can get really stoned, and then we can drive back to Germany with no border guards. Now that is civilized. I know as an anarchist, as a political and spiritual anarchist, philosophical anarchist, I shouldn't support remaining part of a superstate. But my enemy's enemy is my friend. And my current enemy, we can call them the old world order, the ancient old money, the old bloodlines, the royals, the dukes, the barons, whatever you call them, the old royal family that got executed by the Bolsheviks in Russia before communism came in. This is very old, very racist, very elitist old money. And here guys, what if the European Union and their admin bods, as Russell Brand calls them, admin bods, you know, these are bureaucrats, these are faceless, beetle-faced grey men in grey suits behind the scenes. Can they run things a bit better than royalty? I think they can. Let me give you just some real life examples, apart from visiting my parents in France, the healthcare, the free travel. Okay. When I was 19, I think I was about 19, 20 years old, there was a full eclipse of the sun and it was passing through Northern Europe. It wasn't in England, maybe in the south coast, but anyway, I was in Edinburgh at the time and a friend of mine goes, "Hey, do you want to come on my dad's Cessna, his little small plane, and we'll fly down to France and be part of the full total solar eclipse?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So of course, like a moron, I forget my passport. Anyway, we land on this small little light aircraft, four-seater aircraft, into some random airfield in France. And along comes the admin guy, the customs passport control policeman. And he goes, "Monsieur, le passeport, s'il vous plaît?" And I said, "Monsieur, je suis désolé. J'ai oublié mon passeport dans l'Écosse. J'ai oublié le passeport, j'ai pas le passeport maintenant." Which translates as, "Forgot my passport in Scotland, I don't have a passport, sorry for setting foot on French soil." And because we're in the European Union, the policeman goes, "Ah, boff, whatever, you know, cool, remember it next time." Can you imagine, guys, if you get caught, you know, going over the border between Mexico and America, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, I've not got my passport," as if the TSA or the FEMA guard or the sheriff, whatever you call them in America, would be as friendly as that, saying, "Oh well, remember your passport next time." That's a real world example. A second thing, or third thing, is that under the European Union rules, human beings have some very, very, very powerful rights, apart from the right of travel. The European Convention on Human Rights is 10 times better than anything Britain has produced in the Magna Carta, etc. And the Daily Mail, who is like being butt-fucked by the elites, they're being butt-fucked, probably literally as well. This kind of pandering to the elitists, they're like hating on the European human rights because allegedly it stops, you know, alleged terrorists facing trial. But one great thing about the European human rights is that this is the law. If your bank, your British bank, puts bank charges on you for, whoops, going over your overdraft limit by £1 and they slap on £10, £15, £30, phone them up. Say that according to the European Convention on Human Rights, it's illegal for any institution to not leave you with enough money to feed yourself and your family. You tell them that, the bank's recording it, they'll argue with you, but then they'll reinstate your money and they'll do it again and again. How do I know this? Because I've done it. I know people who have also done it. If you're struggling for money, as we all are, you know, oh yeah, please send a donation if you remember. We're all struggling for money, and if you get a bank charge of £20 when you've only got like £3 in the bank and you want to go and buy food for your family, phone up the bank and say, look, scumbags, scrote heads, it's against my European human rights. So for those reasons, oh yeah, coming back to Scotland. Scotland independent. Look, we all know that if Scotland becomes free of the old world fucking Westminster, Windsors, David Cameron's old bloody Westminster old boys network, if Scotland becomes free, they'll still be part of the European Union. I'd rather Scotland were free as an independent nation, part of this umbrella organisation that protects my rights, rather than Scotland being the slave of a country at which we, and I am Scottish, I am, we were at war with for so many hundreds of years, and this is England. And in the spirit of William Wallace, in the spirit of every drunken man smelling of whiskey walking down Rose Street in Edinburgh, we don't need Westminster to rule us. We have enough oil, enough gas, enough natural resources. The whiskey industry alone could keep Scotland going. So for independence and stay in the EU, and that's how I feel.